Hello, welcome. Thank you for joining us on this edition of News 2. I'm April Knight in for Sandra Gumansing. Topping our newscast, the Virgin Islands Department of Justice is not just coming after parents, mostly fathers, who are not paying child support. It also wants to help them get better at being dads. That's why, in collaboration with the Department of Human Services, they're launching an initiative, an 8-week class that they hope would deal a blow to the trend of absent fathers in the territory. The Attorney General's Office and the Department of Human Services are teaming up to alleviate the problem of absent fathers in the territory. They recently launched a fatherhood initiative program called Fatherhood Buzz, teaching life and parenting skills to Virgin Islands fathers.
With the goal of promoting responsible fatherhood. The objective is for men to become more responsible father figures and fathers in the lives of their children. You know, this is a relatively new field of study, fatherhood.
The pilot program is being held on St. Thomas for now, with 6 individuals already in their 3rd week of classes. Plans are already underway for a similar program on St. Croix. Human Services Commissioner Vivian Ebbison-Flood shared the statistics on absent fathers in the Virgin Islands, as well as the negative effects of that trend on children.
Almost half of the fathers do not live with their children, and they don't have contact with their children. Many children under the age of 5 are living with single mothers and are 20 times more likely to live below the poverty level than those where the father-husband is present. There's ample evidence of the negative effects of the lack of a father's involvement, ranging from increased risk of negative physical, cognitive, behavioral, and academic outcomes to an increased risk of abuse.
The Fatherhood Buzz program is an extension of the AG's Operation Support Our Children, which tracks down parents who are delinquent on their child support obligations. Attorney General Walker said that in the future, this could ultimately help young people avoid a dangerous path in life.
The hope is that if fathers are more involved in the lives of their children, that they would be there to assist them to avoid some of the negative societal traps that exist.
Now, those classes are not exclusively for those who are tagged as delinquent in their child support obligations. For more information, you can call Assistant Human Services Commissioner Janet Turnbull-Krieger at 774-0930 for more information. Well, yesterday, some emergency medical service employees who were off duty at the time staged a protest on St. Croix on the lack of insurance for EMS vehicles. Late Thursday afternoon, Health Commissioner Davis and Michelle Davis met with the EMS staff. Officials say it's all a misunderstanding and that the vehicles are insured. They said per the VI code, the government is self-insured and that thus provides protection for any employee driving a government vehicle, and that under the Tort Claims Act, all EMS employees are immune and bear no liability. It's because of this that Property and Procurement Commissioner Randolph Bennett said he denied an earlier requisition for insurance for the vehicles that would have cost the agency between $5,000 and $10,000. The Senate Committee on Housing, Public Works and Waste Management, chaired by Senator Marvin Blyden, met today on St. Thomas and discussed Governor Kenneth Mapp's proposed comprehensive waste reduction bill. It emphasizes recycling and composting in the territory. Lawmakers said this could help residents take more care of their surroundings.
One of the problems that I see here in the Virgin Islands is that, for the most part, garbage collection is free to individual here, but we still have high littering. So imagine if garbage collection is a fee for service, what would happen to the littering side of it? And I really think we need to drive the residents here towards more recycling, because I do believe in a comprehensive recycling program. Can we get there now? I don't think so. And I think we need to look at a hybrid way of getting there, maybe through an incentive program with a rebate or something, and then transfer later on.
Meanwhile, a British Virgin Islands resident was sentenced on Thursday in federal court for smuggling illegal aliens into the United States. Ashemba Fred, 22 years of age, from Tortola, is sentenced to 3 months in prison and 3 years of supervised release. Fred pleaded guilty in March. According to the plea agreement, the U.S. Coast Guard stopped a vessel just off of St. Thomas and that Fred jumped in the water but was apprehended. A Haitian national and a Dominican Republic national were on the vessel. Fred admitted that he was paid $700 by the Dominican for transport from Tortola to St. Thomas, and he knew that the person didn't have the paperwork to do so legally. The Department of Agriculture on Friday showed off 3 weather stations to be installed across the territory. The weather stations are meant to monitor rainfall activity, and what's exciting about it is that it's designed by a Virgin Islands teacher, Mr. Harrigan, of Bertha C. Basholta Middle School, and his students. Agriculture Commissioner Carlos Robles explains how the weather stations are going to be a major help to the Virgin Islands.
It was really fascinating, and I said that, since if we're going to be a part of the Drought Monitor, which is a U.S. drought monitoring agency, and we don't have enough data points in the territory to collect rainfall data, I wanted to at least, as part of the agriculture community, contribute to the data gathering of rainfall and other parameters in the area. And so I worked with Mr. Harrigan. We priced 3 weather stations. He did all the logistics. We talked and we agreed on what we need and what we didn't need. They eventually came in. He and one of his students built them, and now we're receiving them today.
Congratulations on that. Delegate to Congress Stacey Plaskett, meanwhile, defended FBI Director James Comey yesterday. Comey was facing the House Oversight and Government Reform Committee to testify on the FBI's decision not to recommend charges against Hillary Clinton for her use of a private email server. Plaskett condemned Comey's critics who insist that Comey was politically influenced. According to Plaskett, they don't know who they're talking about.
And I know from my own experiences that Director Comey is a man of impeccable integrity. There are very few times when you as an attorney or as an individual can work with individuals or a gentleman who is completely that, someone who is above the fray. Anyone who suggests or implies that he made his recommendations on anything but the facts simply does not know James Comey. We've used the term no reasonable prosecutor. Well, I know that James Comey doesn't act as what a reasonable prosecutor was due, because he is the unyielding prosecutor. He is the prosecutor who does what is politically not expedient for himself, his staff, but for the law.
The VI Republican Party, meanwhile, slammed Plaskett for, quote, mocking an official congressional hearing on the FBI investigation. VI GOP State Chairman John Canegata stated that the delegate put her political allegiance to Clinton and party bosses ahead of ensuring that national secrets and other sensitive classified information were not obtained by hostile nations. Turning our attention to the mainland, the eyes of the world are on America right now as a tragedy in Dallas capped off a week of violence. Police all around the country are changing procedures, working in pairs, and upping security after a gunman ambushed officers in Dallas. 5 officers were killed and more were injured after what had been a peaceful protest of officer-involved shootings in Louisiana and Minnesota. The Dallas police chief says the shooter wanted to kill white people, and especially white police officers. Emily Schmidt has more on the investigation and the response from Washington.
If there was a message from Dallas protesters after police officers shot and killed Philando Castile in Minnesota and Alton Sterling in Baton Rouge, it was that violence could not win. But even at the demonstration, violence caused still more loss.
Is that a cop dead?
Police say 25-year-old Micah Xavier Johnson of Mesquite, Texas, who had served in the U.S. Army Reserve and with no criminal record, started shooting police officers.
The suspect said he was upset about Black Lives Matter. He said he was upset about the recent police shootings. The suspect said he was upset at white people.
We got a guy with a long rifle. We don't know where the hell he's at.
Officers found themselves the target. Police say when hours of negotiations broke down, a bomb robot exploded and killed Micah Johnson. It was the single deadliest day for law enforcement since 9/11.
People say Black Lives Matter. That doesn't mean blue lives don't matter. It just means all lives matter.
President Obama started a call for calm that echoed across party lines. Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump canceled campaign appearances. Flags were lowered across the nation.
Let's not lose sight in our common humanity.
Do not let this week precipitate a new normal in this country.
Attorney General Loretta Lynch promised peaceful protesters they would be protected, saying, "Your voice is important as the nation moves forward." In Washington, I'm Emily Schmidt.
Leaders of the Black Lives Matter movement have condemned the Dallas shooting. Protests continue around the nation on the shootings of Alton Sterling in Baton Rouge and Philando Castile in Falcon Heights, Minnesota. Family members of both men also condemned the shooting deaths of the 5 Dallas police officers. Senator Kenneth Gittens, meanwhile, a former law enforcement officer himself, has responded to the shootings. The senator said he's saddened by the spate of violence that has erupted across the nation, stemming from conflicts between police and residents. Gittens said, though, that he is thankful that the VI community has not experienced any issues with racial profiling or tension between police and residents in the community to this magnitude.
The racial tension that has been escalating, coupled with anti-law enforcement posture that many have been displaying, only creates an environment perfect for breeding more violence and ultimately more bloodshed and deaths. No one should try to justify these shootings. They were nothing more than a cowardly attack on the men and women who were sworn to protect and serve our community. We must embrace our police officers across the nation and continue to strengthen the ties and partnerships between residents and officers right here at home.
Keeping an eye on the economy, employers added 287,000 jobs in June as the labor market bounced back resoundingly from a spring slump, easing concerns about a longer-term slowdown in payroll growth and sparking a big stock rally. The unemployment rate rose to 4.9 from 4.7, though. That's a 4.7% as about 400,000 Americans streamed into the labor force, including discouraged workers who had stopped looking for jobs. And that's according to the Department of Labor on Friday. Here's a look at the stock market watch with our New York Stock Exchange. As you can see, everything up. The Dow 250, NASDAQ 79, S&P 32. Coming up on News 2, an annual event embraced by many on St. Croix and featuring a favorite local fruit. The Mango Melee is coming your way this weekend, and we have details for you when we come back. Welcome back. The St. John Legislative Annex's conference room isn't called that anymore. On Friday, the Senate chambers was filled during a ceremony that named the room in honor of Cleone Henrietta Criqui. She was a former at-large senator in the 12th legislature who also held an array of top VI government posts during her distinguished public career. The bill to name the chambers after her was approved by the governor in October last year. The honoree herself dropped some words of wisdom on her party, the Democratic Party, and the current state of politics in the Virgin Islands.
That's what politicians we have now. Me. I. 85,000, 95,000, that's swooning in our heads. But the people's business is not being addressed. In my time, I had to listen to my little people in St. John and take it down there. The Crucians had to listen to their people in St. Croix and bring it over here. And the St. Thomians and us sat, and everybody had their little agenda on the table. And you wouldn't dare go from that. You will not dare move from that. That is what we're promoting, that's what we're supporting, and that's what we need to have happen.
The Enterprise Zone Commission is holding the annual Free Estate Planning Conferences next week, Tuesday. Their goal is to reduce the amount of vacant and abandoned buildings within the enterprise zones of the U.S. Virgin Islands. Residents and business owners of properties in Christiansted, Frederickstead, Savannah, Down Street, and Garden Street, Up Street are invited. They'll get information on basic estate planning options and information on the probate process in the VI. The attendees will also learn why estate planning is important, especially for blighted and distressed neighborhoods. These conferences will be held on Tuesday, July 12th at Gertrude's Restaurant on St. Croix in Christiansted, and on Thursday, July 14th in Bethania Hall in the Frederick Evangelical Lutheran Church on St. Thomas in the vicinity of Fort Christian. Both conferences will be held from 5:30 p.m. to 9 p.m. Well, WAPA has scheduled an electrical service interruption to a small portion of St. Thomas Feeder 7A. That's going to happen on Sunday, July 10th from 5 a.m. to 10 a.m. Customers from Subbase to the Niski Center will be affected while crews remove an old pole and wires behind the Niski Center. This work is necessary, according to WAPA, to ensure the safety of structures as well as motorists and pedestrians. While that work is in progress, motorists are advised to use extreme caution in the area for the safety of the crews and the public. According to WAPA, they're going to try to get the power back up as soon as they can. Well, the summer is a great time to spend some quality family time at the beach, but accidents can happen if you're not paying attention. Almost 800 kids drown every year in the United States. According to Safe Kids Worldwide, 2/3 of these deaths happen in the months between May and August. Andrew Spencer is helping to keep your little ones safe in today's To Your Health.
Safe Kids Worldwide has a warning for parents enjoying the water this summer. Stay alert. According to a new study from the organization, a leading factor in child drownings is a false sense of security among parents.
Parents believe that if a child is drowning, they'll hear them, but in fact, drowning is frequently silent.
The group recommends designating a water watcher.
You can do this for 15 minutes where you keep your eyes on all kids that are in the water at all times for your shift. And then you pass on the responsibility to another adult who's there.
Drowning can happen in as little as a minute, so make sure to stay close.
We want to encourage all parents, particularly parents of young children, to be within an arm's reach of their child.
And don't think because there is a lifeguard on duty, you can let your guard down.
Now, lifeguards are there to make sure that the rules are followed. They're there to scan, to rescue, to resuscitate, but not to become a babysitter or to supervise children.
For today's Health Minute, I'm Andrew Spencer.
Well, Virgin Islands women diagnosed with breast or cervical cancer could be eligible for governmental aid. The Medical Assistance Program, or MAP, offers coverage for uninsured women diagnosed with these illnesses. And the good news is it's not dependent on your income. If you think you're eligible, take advantage of this opportunity right away, because once you get a biopsy at a site that is not funded by the CDC, you become ineligible for the insurance. So if you're a VI resident, uninsured, and diagnosed with breast or cervical cancer at a CDC-approved site, the closest one is in Puerto Rico, call the Department of Human Services at 718-2980 or 774-1166. Well, the social event of the summer is on Sunday at the St. George Village Botanical Garden on St. Croix. It's time for the Mango Melee and the Tropical Fruit Festival. It's the 20th anniversary of this family event, which features many different mangoes, plenty of food and drinks, vendors that sell art, jewelry, fashion, and more. There's the Mango This, Mango That food competition, the kids and adults mango eating contests, and the celebrity dunk tank. The 20th anniversary celebration also features the Widea cultural dancers, the Rising Stars Youth Steel Orchestra, Moko Jumbies, reggae sensation Tia, Kiki and the Flaming Gypsies, and Mandy Mango. The fun starts Sunday at noon, $6 for adults, $2 for kids 6 to 12, and kids 5 and under get in for free. Stick around, your News 2 AccuWeather forecast is coming up next.